Hello and welcome back to another video. In this week's video, I want to talk about the 7 eating habits that helped me to lose 50 pounds. So for a little bit of backstory, I do want to say that I was overweight for most of my life. I was never thin. I was always big boned. Okay. So for me, like going on a weight loss journey was not something that was new to me. It was something that I had been trying to do for most of my life and something that I failed at for a really, really long time. When I was in my late 20s, so around now, probably close to 2022, was when I really started to focus on losing weight in a really real way. And it took me a long time to figure it out. I think the first year I didn't lose any weight, but when I figured out the things that were kind of holding me back and the eating habits and patterns that were kind of restricting me from making progress on my journey, it really, really helped me a lot. So I want to share these 7 things with you that worked for me and that helped me a lot. With that being said, not everything that I say in this video is going to work for you. So as I always say, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And I hope that you find this video helpful. So for tip number 1, I like to start my day eating a vegetable. And I'm not talking about like I eat breakfast and then I eat a vegetable. I'm saying the very first thing that I put in my mouth when I wake up is a vegetable. It's usually a bowl of carrots because I notice that when I eat a lot of fiber in the morning, it helps me to stay satiated and it makes sure that I don't like give into my cravings as easily. And this doesn't have to be carrots for you. It can be any vegetable that you like, but I do try to stay away from starches. I try to focus on like root vegetables, like I said, like carrots. Sometimes I'll eat a bowl of tomatoes, anything that's got like a good amount of fiber in it that just will make me feel full. And then I go into my breakfast. I used to eat the most insane stuff for breakfast. Like I would eat all kinds of cereal, pancakes, like everything like that. And I noticed that when I stopped eating those things, my cravings throughout the day lessened. And I know a lot of people preach eating protein for breakfast, and that is something that I do and something that I find important. But for me, as somebody that lives with a lot of cravings, it's really, really important for me to make sure that I'm feeling slightly full because I'm less inclined to give into those cravings if I have like a fullness feeling. I just also think that when I start my day with something sweet, then that's all I want for the rest of the day. So my rule of thumb is always to start my day with something savory and something that isn't going to make me want more and more and more throughout the day. So that's the first tip, and I really love that tip because it's just changed a lot for me and it's helped me to deal with my cravings a lot better than I used to. The next habit that I found really, really important is no eating in front of the TV. And this includes using screens, using my social media, using anything like that, because I notice that when I'm sitting down and I'm watching a movie or I'm scrolling or something like that, it feels like I did not eat. So that's been a really big one because I used to wait to start eating my meal until I had a good TV show to put on. And I find that now when I sit down and I'm really intentional about what I'm eating, I feel full. A lot of times I would finish a meal and then I would like blank out and be like, it doesn't feel like I just ate anything at all. And I actually watched this show, it's called Secret Eaters. And a lot of times when you see them eating and they're watching TV, they look like they're in a trance. And I was like, oh my gosh, I probably look like that because I would just be like eating my food and not paying attention to what was actually in front of me. So I find it really important to be intentional about what I'm eating and to be grateful that I have food in front of me and just to be in the moment with the food that I'm eating instead of distracting myself. So that's a really big tip for me. And I love this one because it makes me feel full, it makes me feel grateful, and I feel like I can be present in the moment when I'm eating my meals. The third habit that I've developed is one that I don't always do, but it's one that I find important, and it's going on a short walk after meals. This one is especially important in times like right now when I'm in finals and I haven't been as active as I'd like to be. I find it really important to go out just for 10 or 15 minutes after I eat instead of like being on my laptop and doing work and then coming back and then just eating and then going straight back to my laptop. Kind of ties into the screen thing, but I find it really important because a lot of times after I eat, my stomach just doesn't feel like right. Like I have a very sensitive stomach, so I like to go on a walk and kind of get my digestion going and feeling like, okay, I ate this meal, I can be calm now, I can do whatever I need to do for the rest of the day. And it also helps me to not snack after I eat a meal. So I usually go on like a 10-15 minute walk, nothing crazy, just enough to like get my head clear and be like, okay, you got your food, you're good to go. And I also feel like this kind of ties into like making sure that I feel full because it usually takes me about 25 minutes to feel satisfied after a meal. And I hear a lot of people say that too. They're like, I usually after I eat something, I want to eat something else right after because I'm like, oh, I don't feel full. I don't feel like I ate enough. But if you wait like 15 or 20 minutes, your body will adjust and you'll be like, okay, I am full. It takes time for your stomach to actually get all the food into it to make sure that you feel full. So if you have a problem with like eating a meal and then eating another and eating another and eating another right after, take some time and just wait. Like go on a walk, go outside, get your digestion flowing, you know, do what you need to do. But this is a big one for me that's helped. But again, especially now that I'm like in finals week, I like to get out and just stretch my legs out, get some nature, get some sun in my eyes, and it's just a really nice habit to build. The fourth habit that I find really important is to cut down processed foods. This is kind of 2 in 1, but I feel like when I cut down processed foods, I automatically started volume eating. And for me, volume eating is just eating food that's bigger in volume. So like a lot of more nutritious foods, leafy vegetables, leafy greens, things like that are gonna have more volume and they're gonna make you feel fuller longer. So when I started cutting down processed foods, I was like, well, what do I eat now? Because I need to eat something. And as someone who grew up mostly eating like things that came in a box because that's what we could afford and that's what we had, it was a really, really big transition for me, but it helped so much. And I know I'm talking a lot about cravings here, but that was kind of the big thing that kind of messed with me when I was trying to lose weight. And the big thing that made me gain weight in the first place was just all the cravings that I had. So when I went in and I cut down on processed foods, it really helped me so much because it taught me how to eat better. And it taught me how to eat things that made me feel full and things that made me feel satiated and things that actually made me physically feel good. A lot of the processed foods that I've eaten throughout my life have been things that really give me a quick fix. They're like a quick dopamine jump and they make me feel really excited. And then I crash immediately later. And I never liked that feeling, but I also didn't understand that feeling for a long time. And a lot of the processed foods that we eat are filled with sugar and all these things that we don't need. I'm not one to say that processed food is like completely out the door because I still eat processed foods, but I definitely pay more attention to how much I eat. So my rule of thumb is usually that 80% of my grocery cart is going to be nutritious whole foods, and then the other 20% can be processed foods, because I don't think that it's possible in the world we live in to completely cut out processed foods, but it is something that we have to pay attention to and something that we have to focus on in order to make sure that we're eating nutritious and we're eating in a way that makes us feel good. So my fifth tip is do not buy what you can't afford. And I'm not talking about financially. I mean, do not buy things that you know that you can't have it in your house. And for me, I know that I can't do ice cream. I can't do chips. I can't do things that I can grab really easily and things that I can eat like really mindlessly. So if you know that you are going to eat something, if you bring it in your house, don't trust that you're going to have the willpower to bring it in and hope that you don't eat it. I think that the really big step in having a disciplined life and being really disciplined with yourself is being honest. And for me, being honest means that I know that I just can't have it. Like, I just can't have it in the house. If I really want something sweet, I have to find an alternative or something like that. And I just feel like it's really important to be real and be like, I know that I can't do this. I'm not going to keep this in my house. I'm going to put it away. I don't like to have my house completely empty because I do have a sweet tooth. I have a really bad sweet tooth. So for me, instead of bringing things into my house that I know are not good for me and things that I know I can eat very quickly, I instead find swaps and I find alternatives. Lately, for some reason, apples have just been doing it for me. I eat like 3 apples a day and I don't care because it's still got a lot of fiber. It's sweet, it tastes really good, and it always makes me feel happy. With all that being said, the next habit that I built in is to make fun stuff hard to get. And I mean, like for me, I like to go out. If I want ice cream, I'm gonna walk to the ice cream shop. If I want something that's really not that great for me, I try to walk to wherever I'm going. I like to make sure that I have to put in some effort to get things that I know are really bad for me. And it's mostly because I find that I'm less inclined to see eating certain things as a habit. A lot of the things that got me to where I started at my weight loss journey was because I was eating things and doing things that ended up becoming a habit in my life. And now my habits have just changed. So instead of having ice cream in my freezer be a habit, I have walking to the ice cream shop be a habit. So if every Saturday I want ice cream, whatever, but I have to walk. And that's fine. I also kind of do this thing now because I live like 40 minutes from New York where I don't want to eat the same sweets every single time I try something. I want to try new things. I want to try things that are fun. So I'm like, okay, instead of walking to the ice cream shop, I'm going to go to the city and try something new, which makes it really fun because I get to explore. I'm walking around. The main, obviously, reason for me to go into the city is to try this ice cream or to try this dessert or to try something. But I also feel like taking it out of being a super accessible experience experience also makes it so that it doesn't become a habit and it's not something that I think of as easy. So the last thing that really helped me a lot with my eating habits on my weight loss journey was figuring out my emotional connection to food. And this is going to be different for everybody. For me, I always get really hangry, and it's not something that I'm proud of. It's something that I work on, but I notice that a lot of times when I sit down with the emotions that I'm feeling when I'm getting hangry, it's usually like a frustration. It's usually some kind of discomfort or something else that's going on that's making me feel that way. A lot of the things when it comes to food for me has been a comfort. I want to feel safe. I want to feel warm. I want to feel comforted in some way or another. And that's one of the reasons that for me, I always went to food when I was trying to feel something that made me feel safe. And a lot of this is going to be different for every single person, but I think sitting down and figuring out why you feel emotionally connected to food and why instead of feeling the anger, you reach for something is a really big part of getting to the next step of your journey and of feeling safe with how you eat. I used to get so frustrated when I would like eat really crazy, and then I would be like the next day, like I was only eating like that because I was mad, or I was only eating like that because I was irritated or frustrated. And now instead of reaching for the food and then having like a ripple effect of being irritated that I did that, I just sit with the emotion and I'm like, why am I feeling like this? What can I do to move forward with this emotion instead of feeding it with something that doesn't help it? You know what I mean? So figuring out the emotional connection when it comes to food is going to be different for you as it is for me. You might need to talk to somebody. You might need to talk to a family member or a friend, or like me, you might just need to sit with that emotion. So yeah, this is all the tips that I had for this. And I really hope that these helped you. I actually really made this video because I'm going back into another little tiny weight loss journey. And I wanted to remind myself of the things that helped me so that I can implement all of these habits back into my life. So I really hope that you liked this video. And if you did, like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to post videos every week, but I'm in school, so we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I will see you guys again for a video next week, and we will talk soon. Bye.